Hello there, and welcome to another week with Kingdom Builders Credit Repair and Michelle Green with the credit and financial tips. We are so happy that you are here. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you will enjoy today's message. So, today we are going to be talking about new credit. And as we begin this journey of a conversation about new credit, first, I want to stop right here and just tell you make sure that you are subscribed to the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair YouTube channel. Make sure that you have subscribed, that you like and you share, and that you send a message to your friends and your family that we are sharing credit and financial tips here on this YouTube channel. Also, if you have Roku TV, Apple TV, Droid TV, Amazon Fire TV, guess what? You can also find us there. We are powered by the CTR Media Network. So if you go to the CTR Media Network app, you can also watch us on TV. That's right. You can watch us on TV and more channels to come in the future. But anywho, back to the credit and financial tips today. Let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson because I'm so excited about sharing with you the things that you need to know about new credit. Okay, who doesn't like new credit? Who doesn't get excited about being able to get approved for something brand new, especially if it's a car or a house? I mean, those are the most exciting moments that I've ever had in my life. So I can only imagine that you are feeling the same way when you have that opportunity to get a new vehicle or a new house or a new credit card or a new loan, and you're just completely excited about the whole opportunity. But as always, here at KBCR, what do we do at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair but teach you about the foundation of credit? So let's talk about the foundation. What is credit? Credit is something that we don't have the money for right now, so we have to go and ask the lender, which is usually a bank or credit union, to lend us the amount of money that we need in order for us to be able to buy or purchase any item that we are looking to purchase in the future. So if we don't have enough money, we just started working in the workforce. If we have been working for a long period of time and we just didn't save the money, or we just for some odd reason don't have the funds, then guess what? We can put it on credit. So I always want to start with that foundation so we never are confused with what credit is, and the ability for us to be able to gain credit is based on trust. It's based on our reputation of what we have proven on paper now, on paper of how trustworthy we are. So three components that we always look at is your profile information, your inquiries, and your accounts. And today I will be focusing on the process of being able to gain new credit. So in the past videos, we've been talking about several different things as it relates to credit and financial tips. But today I want to dive into this new credit idea. When we think about having new credit, we want to think about getting the right type of new credit. Now, many people will tell you that in order for you to bring up your credit score, the one thing that you would want to do is just go ahead and establish a new line of credit, which is usually a credit card, and a secured credit card at that fact. So we want to just kind of do away with the myths of believing that the only kind of credit that we really need to establish is a credit card, because that's actually not true. We need multiple types of credit. That means that our credit portfolio needs to be diversified. And when I say diversified, what I'm referring to is that there are several different types of credit that are available to us. But let's look at the fact that how does this whole new credit process even begin? So when we initially decide that we are ready to go and see if we can get approved for a car or vehicle, any type of personal loan, a house, or whatever it is that we're applying for, the first step is that we will consult the lender that we want to get financing through. Now, there are millions of lenders out there. There are millions of companies that have chosen to be that financial gateway for you to be able to establish credit with them. And it could be a bank, it could not be a bank, but it is some type of financial institution that's going to do the financing for you, which means that they are going to allow you to borrow the amount of money that you get approved for, but they are also going to add interest to the debt. Okay. So always remember that when it comes to credit, you are not just obtaining credit initially, but you are also going to be obtaining some interest. And what is interest? Nothing more than not the original principal balance of money that you have borrowed, but it is the additional money that you have to pay back because you didn't have the money yourself to pay for the item that you wanted to purchase. Does that make sense, y'all? I hope so, because when it comes to credit, I want to make sure that you are completely clear on the understanding of how this credit game works. Okay. Now, once we establish that we have chosen the lender or creditor that we want to see that we can get financing through, what happens is we will go and have them fill out an application for us, or we will fill out an application with that lender or creditor. Now, once we fill out the application and they run our social security numbers, then we will have what is called an inquiry on our credit report. An inquiry or inquiry, as some people say, tomato, tomato, okay? But however you say the word, inquiry, an inquiry is something that is going to show up once the creditor actually runs your social security number through a computer generated system to see what your credit scores are, and also for them to be able to understand whether or not they want to give you a little bit of money, a lot of money, or no money at all. Okay. So this is the process, initial process of you being able to gain new credit. Now, when it comes to new credit, what we do need to understand is that inquiries are a negative hit towards our credit scores. So we already learned that our credit reports and our credit scores are in two different categories because they're two different entities altogether. In other words, the credit bureaus were created, but the credit scoring system was created separately with a whole different company called Fair Isaacs Corporation. And those are the company score that you want to receive when you are checking your credit. You don't want to go through just any old credit monitoring company. You want to go to the company that originally created the credit scores. So we want to understand that when the process of us establishing a new line of credit happens, the initial process is that we're going to get a hit as an inquiry. Once the inquiry happens, then we will have the inquiry show up on our credit report in the inquiry section. And that's going to take away 2 points for every creditor that the initial creditor ran the credit check through. I'm going to say that again. So you will receive a deduction of 2 points for every creditor that is affiliated with the original creditor that you signed the application with. So for example, if you sign up to receive financing for a vehicle loan and the company was, I'll say, Ford. So you went to Ford and Ford did a credit check. They had you fill out this application. They said, okay, we can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get approved, right? And so we're really excited about all of that. You know, we get kind of happy because we kind of figure like, okay, yeah, I'm actually going to get approved, right? But what we tend to not understand about the credit game is that even though you do have a higher chance of getting approved, what happens is the creditor is saying, I have other companies that we are affiliated with, and those other companies are also going to run a credit check with your social security number. And once they run that credit check with your social security number, guess what's going to happen? You're also going to lose 2 points for every single company that has ran an additional credit check with your signature permission. So, with your permission, because you signed the initial application with Ford to say that it was okay to run the credit check, then what's going to happen is you're also going to lose 2 points for every other company that is attached to Ford. So, for example, if it's Santander, if it's American Credit Acceptance, if it is Nissan, if it is whomever, whoever the company is, Navy Federal, whoever the company is, you want to make sure that you understand Chrysler Capital. You understand that all of the companies that are connected to Ford is also going to take away 2 points from your credit score. Now, I know that this isn't something that you really wanted to hear, and I understand that this could even make you upset, but this is a part of how the credit game works. And if we don't understand how to play the game, we can never, ever win at the game of credit. So that's why we are here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, sharing this information with you, your families, your friends. That's why we want you to get the word out so that everybody can understand exactly how this game truly works in the industry of credit and finances. Okay. So I don't like the whole concept either, but I don't have a way to change anything. Even as a company, being that we are a credit repair company, we cannot change the actual rules of the game. So, what we have to understand is that even though I cannot change the rules of the game, we can alter the inquiries that are being checked with our social security number with one creditor, with one signature, even though they are affiliated with possibly 5 to 10 other companies, and we're losing a total of 10 to 20, 30, and 40 points at one signature. We still don't have a way to change their policies and procedures because this was established when you decided that you were going to actually sign for whatever it is that you wanted to get as new credit, right? Okay. So the same thing applies to me and it applies to all of us. We just have to understand that if we're going to get finance, we want to check with the original creditor or company that we are getting the financing through to see if the company is going to run multiple credit checks. If we can kind of get ahead of the ball game, if we kind of prepare before we get to the point of having the credit check ran and giving them our social security number. And I've even heard that sometimes you can just give the company a phone number and they can find all of your personal information, including your phone number and your driver's license. So just be careful about what information that is your personal information that you're giving to a lender or creditor to make sure that they are not running multiple credit checks through to see if you can get finance for sure. So what does that mean? We want to initially talk to the lender. We want to initially check with the lender to find out if they know whether or not you're going to have the deduction of points per company that's running the credit check. So you want to initially go into the equation educated, understanding that, hey, I'm going to ask this lender, how many companies do you run the credit check through in order to see if I can get approved? And if they can honestly answer the question, then you can make an educated decision of deciding whether or not you want to go with that same company or not, or if you want to go ahead and stay with the company that you are currently with, or even if you don't have a company that you are already with, then you might want to check with a different company to see if maybe another company could offer you a lesser amount of inquiries that are going to be ran for the credit check. So that's how we would play the game. We would understand that the game is that we cannot control how many creditors they are going to be affiliated with when we are checking for finances. So we should always keep our options open. Keep your options open so that you will be able to understand that, hey, if I need to go down the street, or if I need to check with my local bank, if I need to check with my regional bank, maybe even a national bank, to see if I can just go through one original company, a creditor or lender, then I need to kind of shop around to make sure that I'm making the best decision for myself. So you're not just talking about just going to one place, you're going to multiple places. So this is my second point. When it comes to new credit, we have to understand that we need to shop around before we give someone permission to run the credit check. And we have to be able to understand that we got to ask questions. And it's okay to ask the question. It's okay for you to say to the lender, hey, how many credit checks are you going to run in order for me to get approved or not get approved for credit? Because here's the third point. If you have an inquiry that is ran multiple times through multiple lenders, even if you get denied, you still lose those points. Isn't that crazy? I know. Listen, I've been doing credit for over 30 plus years, and I'm telling you, the game has not changed yet. So please believe that they are still going to complete the credit checks, the multiple credit checks, regardless of what you're applying for, regardless of where you're applying. You have to do your own due diligence to make sure that when you apply for credit, you are checking around to see who has the best interest rate, to see who accepts the kind of credit score that you have, and to also see how many companies that the original creditor that you signed the application with is going to run whether they're going to run multiple credit checks or just one or two credit checks with a couple of companies to make sure you get approved. So listen, this is how the game works with new credit. It's okay that we want to gain new credit, and we also have to understand that there are multiple companies, I mean millions of companies out here that have the opportunity to offer us credibility. But we have to make sure that our credit is in a decent standing. What is a decent credit score to kind of like feel like you can walk into a financial institution and kind of like, shop around, kind of ask questions about what's the interest rate, how long are the terms of the loan that we are obtaining, or the cards that we're getting ready to put in our name. When I look at credit, I always look at the fact that we're only going to have two kinds of credit in two different categories. That's either going to be a loan of some kind, or it's going to be a card of some kind, whether it's a credit card or a department store card, or if it is a personal loan, a furniture loan, a vehicle loan, or a student loan, or even a mortgage loan. So we have to understand that those are our categories to choose from for new credit. Those are what we consider traditional credit lines. So when you are thinking about whether you need some cash money, do you need to go borrow some money so you're creating a personal loan? Or if you are in need of a vehicle, maybe you're in need of a some furniture or an appliance. I know a few months ago, my washing machine and dryer broke down, and I was in need of replacing the washing machine and dryer, but we decided after shopping around that we were going to wait and see if we can literally fix the washing machine and dryer. And we were very successful in finding someone that repaired the machines so that we didn't have to go and get finance for a whole nother washing machine and dryer, right? So that's why it's so crucial for us to understand that we want credit scores that are at least somewhere in the range of a 600 to a 650. We want to be above the 650 mark because that's going to put us at a little bit higher above the bare minimum, the bare minimum of what we consider to be a low credit score. We want to be above that level. So we want to rise up. We want to rise up to the call of having a decent credit score. So when we look at credit, we have to understand first, what is it that you want to purchase? If you're looking for some new credit, then what does your credit score look like? And if you don't know what your credit score looks like, then you can go to myfico.com, pay for the premium plan, and see exactly what your credit scores are based on the type of credit that you want to apply for. Now, that's just a Kingdom Builders Credit Repair recommendation, because my FICO is the real credit scoring model that was originally the ones who created the credit score. So it just makes sense to me that I would recommend to you to the people who originally started this whole scoring model, okay? So you would go to my FICO, check the scores. If you don't know what they are, don't go to other scoring models because they were not the ones that originally created the credit scoring model. So therefore, they don't have the most accurate numbers. And if you think about it, people who are applying for credit, when they do the application and they take your social security number with the application, then guess what they are doing? Running a credit check through my FICO. Okay, they do not go through the bank. They don't go through credit cards companies. They don't go through other credit scoring models. 95% of lenders and creditors are going to run your credit check through the MyFICO system. So after you complete that application, even though you might have looked at a different scoring system like Credit Karma or some other system, just understand that those systems are not the most accurate because they are not running credit checks through any other system other than the original company. Now, there are rare occasions where some creditors may use another system, but when it boils down to 95% of lenders use the MyFICO, I think that pretty much covers most of the lenders out there, okay? So make sure you understand what type of credit you want to go for. Are you trying to purchase a vehicle? Are you trying to add a personal loan to the equation? Do you need some type of furniture or an appliance? And are you going to places that are considered to be your traditional loan companies or your traditional credit card companies? Or are you trying to go through alternative options? When I say alternative, I like to call it fake credit. So you don't want to go through alternative companies because creditors and lenders look at the alternative companies as companies that we automatically see have a negative effect or a negative pattern of you having a low credit score. So in order to have that score where you have the option of credit being in your hands to decide on, okay, I'm going to go with this company because they have a better interest rate. I'm going to go with that company because they have better finances and better terms of how long it will take me to pay off the actual debt. And that is something that we want to definitely keep in mind, because I know that most of us, when it comes to credit, especially new credit, we aren't really thinking about the terms of the whole loan or the terms of the card. Okay, cards should always be kept. Keep your cards open so that they can help to bring up your credit score. And we'll talk about one day how you can manage your credit cards so that we can make sure that, and your department store cards, that we can make sure that you are keeping a really good credit score. I think we've already covered that a couple of weeks ago, if not last week. But anyway, you can go back to the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair YouTube channel and watch the previous videos and make a comment, like and share, like I said before. Then we also want to look at not just the type of credit that we are establishing that we want to purchase, but we want to look at the terms. We want to look at what's the interest rate. And we also want to see how many other companies are going to be involved in the financing of the item that I want to purchase, so that we are not senselessly losing points unnecessarily, and we can keep and maintain our credit scores in between a range of I would say 620 to about 680 or 700. That's the goal for every client at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. That's the goal that we have for all of our clients. We want you to be between a 700 and a 720. So if you are a Kingdom Builders Credit Repair client, go ahead and give us a shout out below. Make a note in the comments to give us some feedback on how your journey is coming along. We are super excited for you to be a part of our program. And if you are interested in becoming a part of our Kingdom Builders Credit Repair program, just know that we are going to teach you things that you probably never heard of before as it pertains to your special customized credit itself. We're going to teach you about what is best for you and how you can obtain new credit, where we have a list of companies that we've already dealt with in the past and that our clients have dealt with, and we know where to send you to so that you can gain the best options. Listen, if you have not connected with us yet, make sure again that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you connect with us on all the TV networks through the CTR Media Network. Okay, and also go to our website, www.kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com, and click on the Let's Talk button. We want to talk to you about your credit. We love what we do, and we will definitely take good care of you and your credit, your finances, and help you to win and take your credit and your finances to the top. I'm talking about all the way to the top, where we teach you about saving money, we teach you about taxes, we teach you about insurance, we teach you about other things that are not necessarily connected to credit directly, but we're going to make sure that your financial portfolio is the bomb.com. Yes, we are. That's what we do here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So again, thank you for watching. I hope that you have a better understanding now of how to gain new credit, what the process looks like, and what you need to prepare for before you decide to make a decision that you want to purchase a new line of credit. No matter what it is, whether it's a loan or a card, you need to take control and be prepared and have the accountability to make sure you're going to complete the contract of whatever it is with whomever it is that you decide to sign your name to in the new credit. So thank you so much for watching. And again, I hope that you have enjoyed. Make sure that you subscribe, and we'll see you next Friday from 12:30 until 1 p.m. All right, you take care now. Bye-bye.